man, it is just really exciting when a sport fisher is backing down hard on a fish. I mean, you hear those diesel engines like kick in and roar, feel the boat like vibrating. You can't not be excited when that's going down. And that's what you're gonna see in today's video. Today's video is gonna be really cool because I get to go down to the Bahamas and fish for the first time. I'm fishing on a really cool boat as well. It's the Gemlux boat, the boat that Gemlux owns. And it is really cool. Got a lot of cool gadgets, a lot of fishing gear and boating equipment that we're gonna be using. It's a 58-foot Viking. It's the biggest boat I've ever fished on. So I'm gonna be fishing in comfort, much bigger, a lot more amenities than I'm used to. So it's gonna be really cool. And I'm fishing with the Gemlux crew. A lot of my coworkers fishing with the owner, Matt Bridgewater, Ash, Doug, Captain Ron, Bubba. It's gonna be a really cool trip, so stay tuned. We headed out that morning and it was a little rougher than we'd hoped. It was a little windier and there were some pretty big swells out there. I mean, I asked the captain one time, like, how big do you think these are? And he's like, 8 to 10 foot, which I could totally believe, especially being in the helm up there on that second level on the big Sportfisher and seeing some of the waves. I was like, oh, wow, that's a pretty good wave. But on that 58-foot boat, wasn't bad at all. We were able to fish just fine. The way we fish for billfish is different than some of the other fishing that I've done for the most part. We're gonna be using teasers to attract the fish to our baits. So some of the teasers are gonna be dredges and some are gonna be like squid chains and like a big mold craft lure. So these dredges, for those of you who don't know, are like umbrellas without the fabric, right? They've got, 6, for example, arms, and they've got baits on each of those arms, and there's usually a couple tiers. So it looks like a school of bait is kind of following your boat right behind the transom. So we have some paddle tails mixed with some dead mullet. So it's got a good realistic kind of smell and flavor and looks really good in the water. So we have those on each, kind of off each corner, run right off the outriggers. Then we have our teaser. We have a squid chain with a hookless mackerel on one side and a big mold craft lure on the other side. Since you have these teasers, it's also really important to watch them. You really got to pay attention to what's going on because the fish could come up to those teasers. You'll see a billfish, it's really cool, they'll be lit up, their fins will be bright blue, they'll have that dot on their head, and sometimes you'll see that fin come out of the water when they're checking out these teasers. So you really got to pay attention. It's not just something you can sit back and chill. And then we also have 4 Ballyhoo with circle hooks in them. And we've got these strategically positioned so that they're kind of like right behind the teaser. So hopefully if a fish, goes in on the teaser, gets attracted, we can get that bait right in front of them. And then we got 2 off the long rigger, basically off the ends of the rigger, a little bit further back. We started trolling, and before we could even get all the lines out, we had a fish on.
He's behind you still. Looks like a sail.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got him?
Nice, brother.
We hook up to a White Marlin and we get this fish up to the boat really quick. I was really impressed by how fast we were getting these fish up. We're not using heavy lines that you might think of, like big 80 wides for marlin. We're actually using smaller fast reels with 25-pound main line on them. And we're using probably 12, 15 foot leaders. I'm not sure exactly, but whatever the leader size kind of is for billfish. And I think it was only 60 or 80 pound. So kind of light tackle than maybe what you would expect. But we were getting these fish in quick. So it popped the flat line first, and then it hit the teaser. Yeah, another one? We started letting the lines back out, and like instantly we had like a second fish on. Like I couldn't even believe it. I was like, really? Like that fast? Are we sure? But I mean, they obviously know way more and are used to this, and yeah, they had that fish on, so that was pretty crazy. This style of fishing is actually very hands-on, especially what you might think for trolling. It's not something where we're going out there, throwing lines in the water and just sitting back and chilling, waiting for a fish to bite. It's very active. Everyone's got to be involved. Actually, while trolling, a lot of times you've got your two lines off the riggers and the little rocket launcher right there. And these two lines that are off the riggers, you'll have a guy standing there, usually a guy on each rod, with their hand, their finger holding the line, just trying to feel like a fish hit it, like grab it or bill it or whatever. So they're really just constantly monitoring that, that line. When they feel something bite, they're gonna throw that thing up, grab it, throw it in a free spool, and let that bait just drift naturally back. So, I mean, you gotta be active. You can't just not pay attention. It's very hands-on. Likewise, when we're trolling around, the captain is looking, he's monitoring all of his equipment. For example, this boat has a big Omni sonar, so he's monitoring that, looking for marking, bait, fish, and when he thinks he sees something, he'll whistle. Basically, everyone runs and gets into the position. They'll grab their rod, be on the lookout, get ready to throw that bait in free spool. We're using circle hooks, so when the fish hits, you got to put in free spool, let the fish totally eat the bait, because it hooks all the way up front. It's going to eat them, and then when you ease it into gear, it's going to slowly pull that hook out and hook them right in the corner of the mouth. So it's really great, helps the fish to survive, and it's once you get the fish hooked, it actually stays in really well. That circle hook is hard to just throw out. It's really critical that everyone works together. Pulling in, when you get a fish on, you got to pull in those dredges, you got to pull in the teasers. So you got guys working those dredges, other people bringing in lines. There's even someone usually who has a stick with a camera to identify these fish. A lot of these tournaments require you get identification. So everyone has a job to do. It's not just reeling in the fish and driving the boat. Everyone's got to work together, communicate, and it makes it really fun. It's a really cool team sport. They hooked up to a fish and handed me the rod. It was my turn to fight this fish in. It was a white marlin, so it's going to be my first white marlin.
All right, come on, Jeremy. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a white.
Oh, we got a bite. We got a bite. I'm good. I got it. I'm tight, dude. Make sure you stay tight. Where you at, Mom? I need to clear.
You see Jeremy's line, Ron?
Yeah.
I need to clear. Where are you, Doug?
Pull that swivel down. See that black swivel? Pull that line down. There you go. Pull that chain. Take the boat.
Man, you need this line and fresh one out? I gotta get 'em.
Keep lining, Jeremy.
Matt, you want to catch it?
What is it?
All right. drag.
Got it, Jeremy.
Y'all just keep tight. Doug, you're gonna have to do the filming. Yeah. Still there, Jeremy? Actually, you got to crank faster than that, buddy. Jeremy's off. Jeremy's right there. He's tight. He's tight. Okay. Shoot, I'm scared. Ash's still tight.
Reel down. Reel down. Reel down. Reel down.
Reel down, man. You got to get that knot on the rod. Get that knot. Got it, going? Yeah. Here.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you.
Both of you first white, dude.
I gotta sit down. I thought it was a high chuck. I don't know. Maybe I just a little highball white, little hybrid. Well, good job, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's get another one.
Super cool. Got to reel fast, get them in. When you get up close to the boat, you know, I'll back up a little, and I want to get that leader all the way to the tip, because that's when it's considered a catch. Since these are catch and release, we're not gaffing them, we're not even bringing them in the boat. You just get up to that leader, and then we're going to quickly bring them in as much as we can, and then cut the line, let them loose, and get back at it. So what you do is when a fish hits, you're going to want to grab that rod and throw it in free spool. If the captain thinks he sees something, or you see a bait and you're getting ready to release it to a fish, you actually go ahead and grab the rod and point it the opposite way of where the line is. So for example, if you're at the transom, you're actually going to point the rod to the front. So when a fish hits, you can point the rod to them, you know, taking all the tension off, and put it in free spool. And likewise with the outriggers, if it's running off the outrigger over here, you're going to grab the rod and point it this way. When a fish hits, you can quickly point it over there and free spool it back. When you free spool it, they were telling me, don't thumb it, don't even use the clicker, just totally let that thing go. If it starts to backlash, you know, ease the drag forward. But actually, if you don't thumb it, it seems kind of counterintuitive, it won't backlash. Because when you thumb it, you put tension on the line, and your line is stretchy, mono is stretchy, so that actually causes it to stretch and then pull faster, which gets the spool moving faster than the line can go, and then a backlash. So it takes a little practice, took me a little practice, but it's pretty neat when you do get it. We had some mahi come in, and I'd grab the rod trying to get it down, and finally I was able to feel the hit, throw it in free spool, and give it a few seconds, and then engage it. I was able to get hooked up to a mahi and catch a mahi that way. So that was the first time I really dropped back on a fish.
Yeah.
Frigates to the port.
That whitey, that first, we go through mackerel already?
No, that's the same one.
That's the second one?
Yeah, that's the same one.
Oh.
You want a gas or you can flip it?
Nice. catch, Ash? This boat has what's called an omni sonar, which is basically a 360-degree sonar. So the captain can constantly look for stuff around the boat. We're using some old school traditional tactics like looking for birds, be on the lookout for frigate birds or white marlin birds, as well as using our sonar, traditional sonar, and the omni sonar to look for fish and schools of bait. When the captain sees something that looks good, he'll whistle, and everyone will get ready on the rod, ready to drop back on a fish. The Bahamas itself is way different than what I'm used to, in that if I wanted to go fish for billfish in blue water off of northeast Florida, I'm going 60 miles, and that gets me to about 200 feet of water. And then another 10, 15 miles get to 1,500, 2,000 feet. And here in the Bahamas, about a mile, off the coast, and boom, you're in 1,500 or more feet of water. I mean, it just drops off quick. So that's pretty neat. Looking at some of the Seymour mapping and following the maps, it really drops off quick, and you're in some really good blue water that the fish seem to really like. We've caught white marlin as well as sailfish, and we've had several. It's been pretty consistent throughout the day, plus quite a few mahi that are going to be dinner later that evening. In billfish tradition, when you catch your first billfish, I think is how it goes. Basically, they throw you in the water. So for me and Ash, it was our first time catching white marlin. So we stopped back in the Bahamas, back in the cove, and they threw us into the water. There's a lot of tradition around the sport fishing world, around bill fishing. It's really cool, really fun stuff, and I was pretty excited to get thrown in, as crazy as it sounds. It was pretty neat getting pushed in the water there.
What's up, guys? I'm out here fishing in the Bahamas, the Abacos, for the first time ever. It's always been something I wanted to do, and got the fish on the 58 Viking, the Gemlux, and they showed me how to catch some sailfish and white marlin. I caught my first white marlin. I caught two, actually, so that was really cool. First white marlin. We had a blue marlin come up, had the sailfish, had a mahi, and just overall fantastic day. See, there's a lot of flags flying. That's a good sign. A lot of catch and release, testing a lot of equipment. It's all working again, so we're pretty excited. So, guess I'm going in the water now. Woo!
I hope you all enjoyed the video. This was just an absolute awesome trip. We had a phenomenal day. 9 billfish in one day. Just an action-packed day. I'm really grateful to be a part of. I learned so much from the team. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and if you ever get a chance to go bill fishing or fish in the Bahamas, definitely highly recommend it. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Real Hazardous.